Shalom and welcome to Practical Spirituality here at Asia Torah in the Old City of Jerusalem overlooking the Temple Mount. It's the weirdest thing. This happened twice. Yesterday I also said this. I had no idea what I was going to say. Why'd you show me that number?
Oh, I thought you wanted the date.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. She's so intuitive. I do usually. I didn't date this class, though. I will later. What were we just talking about? We were talking about Purim.
Crying.
Oh, yeah. You want to make sure you cry on Purim. You want to cry on Purim. And here it is, like the happiest day. But you totally missed it if you didn't burst out crying at one point. And I feel so bad for saying that because very few people merit to cry like that. Anytime, but certainly on Purim. Because Purim, everyone's just being so ridiculously funny all the time. And people are drunk and fooling around the whole time. And they usually don't get to the tears part. But you do want to cry on Purim. Meaning like totally break down and cry. And that kind of cry, it's just coming from a really, really deep place of knowing. Meaning you get to a place of knowing. There is available on Purim a knowing that goes so to your core that you literally break down and just start sobbing uncontrollably. And there's just no... And you could be smiling and dancing while you're doing this, meaning anything can be happening during this time of this deep sob. Most people aren't dancing while they're sobbing, but you definitely want to get to the level on Purim where you're just sobbing heavily. Not sadly. There's no sad. It's not a sad sob, because what is crying? Crying is just deep feeling. Sometimes my wife and I will experience a love and we'll both start crying. You know, we just cry. We're just crying from a deep feeling of love. And sometimes I'm feeling a deep feeling of joy and tears come to my eyes. Just now I was in the mountains, mountain biking. And I didn't cry, but I could have. It was just this eagle just wasn't expecting me. This giant, like bigger wingspan than my own arms. I just came out of nowhere and there it was, just kind of hovering. It's about 8 feet from me. And then I just had to park my bike, which is why I'm probably late. I'm really late because I had to go to the bathroom, but I could have gone to the bathroom about 8 minutes earlier because I watched that eagle moving very slowly. He never flapped his wings. For the 8 minutes I watched him, never flapped his wings. It was amazing. It was such a lesson in grace. How much energy are you guys putting out? Even right now, you think you're putting out energy sitting in your seat? You think you're using your muscles right now? You should know you have so many muscles engaged right now. Your facial muscles are engaged. But even those who think their arms are at rest, you should know you're using your arms. And I can show you that right now. Is anyone willing to be my lovely assistant? Someone want to be my assistant? You for sure want to be my assistant. You're the guy with all the titles of the classes and everything. So you can be my assistant. Do you mind standing up just for doing this little experience?
I'd love to. Thank you, Rabbi.
So, if you notice, what's your name?
Khalid.
What?
Khalid.
Khalid. So I'm going to take Khalid's arm, yeah? And I'm going to hold it, yeah? And then I'm going to let go, and you'll see that Khalid's amazingly surrendered. He just let it go. Do you see that? He let me hold his arm. And then I let it go. No, that time he didn't. You see what just happened?
Yeah. Whoa.
Watch this.
This man tripping.
Right? Strange, huh? Let it go. Let your arm go. Really let it go.
Crazy, I can't.
You're all using so many muscles right now. There is so much effort in your sitting here. Obviously, there'd be more effort if you're pumping weights or you're running or you're carrying things. There'd be more energy. But you're literally using energy when you don't need to be. And that can get exhausting. But that was a little interesting that you were able to at the beginning. Normally, no one can at the beginning. Can I try your arm, please? No, let it go to your side. No, let me. Hey, let it go, man. You're still raising it. This is a better example. This is a much better example. This guy is, it's all right. I mean, it's not all right for your pants maybe, but no cleanup, no cleanup. I have a thing about leaving water out when it spills, because it means we need more humidity in the room. And a water spill resets everything for us. Okay? So that's what I'm saying, is that we just got to let go. Like, we don't need to cut down trees and use paper to clean up water. Water's important. What are you doing, man? Let me take your arm. Me. Okay? I'm taking the... Here we go. Close your eyes and breathe. And let your arm go. Let it go. No muscles. We don't need your muscles right now. You are a sitting man. Sitting men don't need muscles to use for their arm. Let the muscles go. And give me all the weight into my hand. Oh, not bad. Not really. Right? So what you get from everything I just showed you is that you are in a deep state of, you're in deep, not deep like deep good, you're in a not good deep state of holding. And certain holding's pretty good. Like, for example, please don't do that. Certain holding's pretty good, and that's a total waste of paper. People, holding is sometimes good. Like, for example, your face. Your face. You have to show your face every day. And the less makeup you wear, the more you're going to have to hold it. And the more makeup you wear, the more you're going to let it be held, which is going to take away the muscles in your face. Look at a woman who doesn't wear a lot of makeup in her 50s. You'll be shocked how beautiful she looks without makeup, compared to a woman who wore makeup all those years and then in her 50s, tries not to. It's just the face, the muscle, the tensity. I don't know what the word would be, but the face just falls apart because it's being held together by paint all those years. Nothing wrong with makeup. Makeup's fun, it's fine. It's almost Purim, Makeup's cool, but be really careful to not take away what God made, because you got to hold that thing up for the next 90 years or whatever, and so those are muscles that are fine to hold. There's a deep letting go, though. That's where you really shine. That deep letting go is where you shine. It's where your health is. Like, how much energy you think you're wasting right now holding your muscles? Because you see, you're not letting them go. Like, you think you're leaning on that table. You're holding yourself up. If I put a little baby who, like a real infant, got him in that position, he would just, I don't know what he'd do, fall into that guy's lap over there. Don't do that. So, anyway, but we're holding in all kinds of ways. We call it holding. And it's a really big waste of energy to be holding ourselves up. So everyone just take a moment and let go. Take a breath. Don't waste your energy. Save your energy for important things. So I watched that eagle effortlessly flying above a canyon, never flapping its wings, just getting higher and higher and higher, and then just once it hit enough height, it just started doing big circles, probably looking for something to eat. And it was a moment of beauty and a moment of effortlessness. That was the lesson, is this effortlessness. And think about it, if you had your true nature, how effortless your life would be. And you'd probably live longer too. They've checked the stool samples of deer who have, the environmentalists check the stool samples of deer that are being encroached upon by housing developments. because it's not like you can interview the deer. Deers don't like hanging around for interviews, and it's kind of hard to test them, but you can at least know digestively if they have enough open space for their well-being, because after a while the housing developments start to close in. So there is the way they know how much space per deer, and based on the herd, and how much open space, developed space. They can tell that by the stool samples, by the actual the digestive systems are being affected by deer that are getting that are getting encroached upon by civilization. And how much are you a deer? And how much are people living in Manhattan deer? And how much is our medical system basically treating the symptoms of deer encroached on by an unnatural way of living that the Industrial Revolution has somehow hoodwinked all of us to move from the land and from the beauty of nature and the peace and the tranquility and the inner calm that was the way humans lived in symbiosis with their world. We lived symbiotically. And since the Industrial Revolution, where we have asserted ourselves on this planet and created industries such that people will live in cities and let go of all their quality of life and pay exorbitant amounts to live inside a box, like a human shelf in some building somewhere. And is it any wonder that you couldn't let go of your arm? Is it any wonder that you can't just let your weight go? And then it comes to love. Like, how many of you could let your weight go get married and let your weight go? So probably no one in this room could do that. It's taken me, I'm already like, I don't know how long I'm married, 24 years. And still, if my wife were holding me, when you're holding a awake child, it's light, because they're holding themselves too. They're distributing their weight appropriately to make it a little easier on you. Just naturally they do that. They make it easier to be held. How much have we been making it easier to be held on our significant other? Because we don't want to get dumped. And especially those who are not married, well, you're not going to put too much weight on that person because, they're not bound by any real documents of commitment of any sort, and you better just keep things real light. And you don't even realize you're doing that. You think you're in love. You're not in love. You're holding just like your muscles were holding when they didn't need to be. You're holding like you. Why do you really want a relationship? Because you want to be held, except you're the one doing all the holding, so you don't get dumped. And God knew this. This is why God put major responsibility in marriage, major responsibility, so that it would be really hard to dump you. It has to be really hard to drop you. And then maybe you can let your muscles go. And maybe you can be held. Megillas Esther, the revelation of the hidden. I mean, I know it's often translated as the scroll of Esther, but it means literally, Megillah means to reveal, and Esther is the hidden. The revelation of the hidden is an amazing tale. It doesn't mention God in it at all. It's just this wild tale. And it's a pretty rough story, much like life. It's a pretty rough story the whole time. And it kind of, the difficult genocide that hangs over the Jews' heads for most of the story. I mean, it's a horrible story. It's basically a Holocaust story, just without the same ending as the Holocaust. But during that story, the Jews had to ultimately let themselves be held, like stop using their own muscles. They had to release their muscles and just be held held by God, ultimately. And they went into a 3-day fast, which included Passover, both first and second day. Meaning they didn't even eat matzah. They didn't drink the 4 cups. They skipped Passover. They fasted the day before Passover, the day of, and the day after, and the second day of Passover. Skipped them. And just fasted. And surrendered. They surrendered themselves. They put up the white flag that they were at rock bottom. The beauty, though, of a story of rock bottom is you shouldn't have to reach it to let go, to let yourself be held, to be trusted, to trust and be trusted. I'm excited to give my wife my heart because I still haven't given all of it yet. Because I don't have a good enough GPS system to find the missing chunks and stuff. The doors that got locked over the years. But you bet that you want to peel off you got a chair? You bet that if someone's willing to take your hand in marriage for the rest of your life, like someone's willing to literally hold your hand for the rest of your life, you know, or maybe I should say, someone's willing to hold your heart for the rest of your life. So take care of that heart before you hand it to somebody. Take care of it, because anyone who's willing to touch you, for example, anyone who's willing to touch you without the responsibility of marriage should be slapped and given a cold shower. Because what they're really saying is they're willing, they love you, but they're willing to ruin you all at once. They're willing to spoil you for the vast majority of your married life. Or all of your married life. Sorry, the vast majority of your life is married. God willing, you'll all get married young. You're married, but the vast majority of your life is going to be with that person. Don't they deserve, the one who finally committed to you, don't they deserve all of your heart? Why should they be getting only some of it? And then the other question is, once you have the insurance policy on your finger, meaning once you're wearing that wedding band, what are you waiting for? Why are you still holding yourself? What kind of skeletons in the closet are keeping you from letting your weight be held by another human being fully? Just to be held. It's kind of a weird thing, because anyone who likes you is not worth having. Because, you know, usually when young people like each other, it's the kind of like that without a commitment it wouldn't last. And the only commitments really that lasts is marriage, meaning God made it so hard to get out so that you would be able to let go and be held. That's why God did that. And the Jews ultimately, at the end of Purim, they had to totally surrender themselves. I mean, it was full surrender. And when the Jews surrendered, they won. They got out. They were saved. But it was only when they surrendered they got out. What is that noise? Okay, I realized that today's class is a little weird, so